What's going on, everyone?
Happy Tuesday, everybody. KOTG Tuesday, right?
Tuesday.
Let's see who we got. I saw
What's going on, everybody?
first in the chat was Rooted Lawn Co. today. So good for him. Papa Moslow. Drunk Lawn Guy. The president of the house. Yeah.
Seen Rooted was dealing with them army
dear.
worms.
Yeah.
And they're rare around here. And my wife just showed me an article and it was like Ohio lawns getting destroyed by army worms. And I'm like, damn, like I didn't even know they were up here. So,
Yeah.
My neighbor found one in his yard. We were talking about grubs.
Does it seem
about
worse?
Grubs.
Does it seem worse this year than other years?
It's 2020 of the lawns. That's what it
right.
is.
Yeah. Well, 2020 was so good for the lawn industry. I thought now we're paying back.
Yeah.
They're paying us back.
Yeah.
So like I never thought I'd get a text from my wife. Hey, have you ever heard of army worms or cutworms? And I'm like, yeah, actually, it's the talk of the town right now. But I didn't know they were around here.
Yeah.
Stay away.
Well, before we get into it, let's get Nate happy over there. So grab a glass and keep off the grass.
I'm not drinking a Busch Light tonight.
What? Are you all right? Are you feeling good?
I'm feeling all right. A little tired, but I'm feeling all right.
All right.
So I'd mix it up. Mix it up with a mixie.
Mixie.
Nice.
Will you get some water?
No. A little Jack and Coke.
Okay.
Ooh,
So, little Jack and Coke.
That's a good one.
That's my jam. It's my go-to.
That's
I'll tell you what. Speaking of drinks, so have you ever had Captain Morgan and 7-Up? So I've never had. It tastes like cream soda. It's
a buddy of mine would do. He would do Crown and I think 7-Up, and he really liked that. I don't know if that's similar, but
I had Captain 7 there. Like, I don't know, a couple weekends ago, and I was like, and I couldn't figure out what it tastes like. I was like, I couldn't figure it out. And all of a sudden, I'm like, this is like cream soda, and I was like, yes, that's what it was. So you guys are
interested
in
ginger ale. Interesting.
Try it sometime. Let me know what you think. So
yeah. Well, the Jack and Coke that used to give me heartburn when I'd wake up the next morning.
see, I'm at that age where I take a daily heartburn pill. So
oh, right.
Okay.
Right. Okay. All right. Yeah.
You're covered.
Nice. Well, welcome everybody.
Every day.
Welcome everybody to episode 33 of Keep Off the Grass. I'm Sean from Sean's Midwest Lawn, and tonight we're going to be talking about what to do after you overseed your lawn, aside from stand there all sweaty with your hands on your hip, looking all proud.
Man.
But before we get into the topic, I want to throw it over to Zach, Mr. Backyard All Day, to show us what he's been working on the last couple of days.
Well, I haven't been working on this, and Brian, who Lawntism, he created this website a while back, but thought I'd kind of showcase it a little bit real quick. So if you go to KOTG.live, that's our website. You can get all our info, where we're at, all our episodes. They're all embedded into the website. Shows a map, shows where we're all at on the map. You can kind of see there's a little cluster, and then we got Brian Lawntism out on his own in Utah. We got David Mr. Lush Lawn way down at the tip of Texas. So it's kind of cool. Sean put together this map. So it kind of says who we are. We're a DIY community. I mean, we are brothers. We may disagree, we may have different views, but we're brothers and we're DIY lawn enthusiasts. So, I mean, don't get it twisted. And we, so if you go over to this little tab right here, you can see all of the previous Lawn of the Week winners. So you go to the Lawn of the Week tab. We have a Lawn of the Week. You can enter by hashtag KOTG Lawn of the Week in a post. And it shows every winner that we've had from episode 15 is when we started it. We're on 33 now. So, do the math. But if you go through each person, it will actually have a link to their Instagram account. So you can click and check them out. So, Smoking Stripes, Alan, he was our first winner. And it goes all the way down to our current KOTG Lawn of the Week, which is Alex Mitchell. So
that's pretty awesome. That's smooth.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So, I mean, check it out.
And don't hashtag us in a story. I mean, you can, but it's got to be an actual post where it lives beyond 24 hours. And then don't DM us, do a post, because we like to creep on that hashtag and look, scope out the newest submissions. I don't know if it includes reels. I mean, reels don't go away. So if you do a cool reel, maybe some video, I mean, I think that'd be fine too. I'm not sure if those show up in that either, but if it does, I think that's fine too. Yeah. But yeah, Don't just put it in a story, because that'll go away.
You could do a reel as long as it's showing the lawn, 90% of it.
Yeah, and bonus points for creativity. Let's see what see what people can do. Yeah, thanks for showing us, Zach, and appreciate the work, all the behind the scenes work that Brian does to do that. But you could take credit for that tonight since he's not here, Zach, if you want. So we also have joining us tonight our guest viewer. He won last week to join the show this week. And that is Ron from LTZ Lawn Care NJ. And I'm guessing the NJ is New Jersey, right, Ron?
That's correct, yeah. That's about 10 minutes from Brent, so.
Nice.
What's the LTZ?
That's my kid's initials. It's
very cool.
Nice. Yeah. See, the lawn is a place where I go to get away from my kids, and you're bringing them into your.
Yeah, it's funny. I get them out there. They help me when the leaves fall, and it's like, here, run the blower. Go ahead. Push the mower. But then they like running through the piles of leaves, and what kid doesn't? So
yeah. Well, Ron, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? What kind of grass you have? What got you into lawn care? What kind of mower you got? All that good stuff.
I received my front yard with the Black Beauty from Jonathan Green.
Nice.
And then I also hit it with the this past fall with the Kentucky Blue. I did a little mix of both. And then in the backyard, I hit it with I used the Jonathan Green again, the Tri-Rye and the fall mix, because my back gets destroyed with the dogs and kids. So, I figured front yard can look better than the back. With the fence up, nobody can see it anyway. So,
smart man. That's a working yard in the back.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's you get the pool back there. You got all kinds of stuff, the swing set. So, it takes a beating.
It's like the mullet, right? Your party up front, business in the back.
Yeah, business in the back, exactly. Yeah.
Or a reverse mullet, I guess.
Reverse, how do you like mowing around that swing set? I know, Nate, you guys got a swing set too, right?
That damn thing, yeah.
We have one at this place.
I'm hoping it comes down soon.
Is yours metal, Ron? Is yours like a metal one, or is it wood?
It's the smaller wood one. It's but you know how to work around it. You trim it, trim underneath it and
figure it out.
See, one of my
as best you can.
One of my tactics has been to hit the legs of it with the string trimmer a lot.
Yeah,
to see
so it falls over.
See if I can get that sucker to fall over and be like, "Look, I don't know what happened. It's gone.
We got to get rid of it. It's not safe. It's not safe.
I'm working on it."
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, mine's getting there. The one. Yeah.
Well, Ron, thanks for joining us tonight, and we'll be talking all about what are the things we do once we get the seed down. We've picked the kind of seed that we want. We've made sure to buy the seed early as possible because of how difficult it is, especially this year. We got the seed down, and now we're wondering all what to do, or what are the kind of secrets to encourage germination and get good results. So what's the first thing you guys do after you get your seed down?
Crack a beer and turn them sprinklers on and just be like, shit, hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's the best feeling in the world, is like when you
pop
put
a couple of ibuprofen
and then you crack a beer and you're just chilling, you just watch your sprinklers and be like, yep, all right, let's hope this works out.
Right. Yeah. Cross your fingers and hope it all turns out good.
Have you found that one type of beer kind of gives you better results than another type of beer, Zach?
Come on now. Come on. You can spill a little bit on the line. That's probably the first seed that'll pop.
Right. Yeah. Right. Pour one out.
Shoot. Yeah. I think water is definitely, that's like super important, right? I mean, I think if you don't have some kind of a timer where you can set your sprinklers up and let them be while you go off to work, unless you can tend to it while you're at home all day, that I think is a huge, this is the one time I think where having some kind of irrigation really gives you a leg up, and setting timers and doing, short little spurts throughout the day. So you kind of keep a little layer of moisture. I think that's what helped me anyway. I think I really do. Game changer was the water.
Yeah, I guess just kind of hit on that a little bit. Normal watering pattern is less frequent, but longer. You're probably targeting a half an inch per session, 2 to 3 sessions a week, so that inch to inch and a half per week. That's what you want to do.
Infrequent and deep.
Yes. Kind of like a married man.
Right.
But, when you switch to seeding though, your mindset and your game plan's got to completely change, and that's what Bill was hitting on. You want to, your short spurts, again, probably like a married man, but you got to completely change your timer programs, go with a different set. Me personally, I use the morning dew as kind of my first, moistening. So some people have said, you got to get that first one on there at 5 a.m. I typically don't, because I kind of, like I said, use that morning dew. I know some people will say, hit it for like 2 minutes to kind of knock that off the grass, or off the to knock it off, but I don't. So
like a minute.
But yeah, so I'll run mine, starting my first one around like 9 a.m. And it's just for like 8 minutes, maybe 10 minutes max. You can even go 5 to 10 minutes, somewhere in there, and you want to hit all zones with that. I typically go about every 4 hours, maybe 6 hours. Olee, quit smiling over there. You can't even. You probably can't reload in 6 hours, buddy.
No, Bill hit it right. Like people who have in-ground irrigation or irrigation, they, you really do have a leg up.
Yeah.
Because honestly, the biggest thing I'm dreading about, like I've been dethatching, aerating. I'm dreading setting up my sprinklers for it. I mean, like that's gonna take me the longest out of my whole overseed, and I'm doing a pretty aggressive overseed. I kind of got into it, but I mean that's gonna take me a while, and I'm dreading. I got to do that tomorrow, but I'm dreading setting all that up, dragging all the hoses around, setting up the timers.
But it's like you got to do it, because if you don't, it's all for
And then then it doesn't even make it worthwhile. Yeah. So I mean,
right, yeah, and I mean the typical rule of thumb or whatever you want to call it is like Nate said, it's every 4 hours you want to do the watering, especially if you're seeding onto bare ground, since you don't have anything there to kind of help hold the moisture. Even top dressing, you're still fully exposed to the sun and everything, but you got to do every 4 hours for a few 5-10 minutes each. And they say that the 7, 11, 3, and 7 are like the ideal kind of times to do it. I don't know if that, if that's actually the ideal times or kind of the, that general kind of rule or advice or whatever that's kind of popped up, but 7, 11, 3, and 7, just an easy way to think about it.
Yeah, it makes sense. You get it early enough. Yeah.
So I mean,
big help is that top, like you said, that top dressing. If you get that layer of peat down in there, especially if you core aerate and reseed, throw enough of it in there that hopefully that with the ground being a little bit cooler, it holds that moisture in and it keeps that seed. And I've had good results doing that myself. With the peat moss and stuff. So.
And are you?
So you guys lay the seed? Is everybody covering it? I mean, let's start there. Like you lay the seed before you even turn on the sprinklers. I mean, are you guys covering it? Or like what do you do after you lay the seed? Let's say we're talking overseed. What do you do?
Don't. When I'm overseeding, I personally don't. So because I still got I still got some of the pre-existing seed there. Yeah, it's gonna be some coverage. So
if you got a good turf established, it'll get down in there and they'll protect it. You're thinking that's kind of what I did the previous years, was just throw the seed, kind of rake it in lightly with like one of those, a leaf rake or whatever, so it falls to the soil. This year I'm going to get some topsoil delivered, and I'm pretty pumped about that. And that was exactly a question I wanted to know, was like, do I need to so you put down the topsoil, spread your seed, right? Should I get one of those, like those weighted stampers, and try to go around stamp it, or maybe rent a roller to kind of squish it in that topsoil? Or can I just lay some peat moss and
use your striper?
What would be better? Oh, I should use that.
Use your striper on your mower.
Just walk across the yard with that thing.
Yeah, you would say that.
That's right.
Just don't go crooked or wavy on.
Just go straight. Yeah.
I mean, it's ideal to work it into the soil a little bit. Like what do they say? Like a 1/4 inch at least. But if I'm, well, I shouldn't say it. When I'm overseeding my lawn, that's already the established, mature areas of my lawn, I don't worry about putting down peat moss. Because I generally core aerate right before I overseed. So, that way the seed is like falling down into those cores, and getting that seed to soil contact sort of down there a little bit too, especially as those cores kind of dissolve and work back into the holes. But if I'm seeding on bare areas, or even just like a patch kind of area that doesn't have grass, then I do put a little top dressing, a little peat moss over top of it, or even compost to hold moisture and kind of protect the seed a little bit. So that's the distinction. Overseeding into an existing lawn, I don't really worry about it, especially if you're core aerating. But then going on bare ground, that's definitely when you kind of need to make sure you're working the seed into the soil, and then getting some sort of top dressing, ideally on top of it. Just to give that extra layer of protection, extra layer of moisture.
Did any of you guys see? I guess I follow the lawn care nut, so so it's one just recent his video. I guess he went and reseeded somebody's property last year, and I guess they had some issues with with new construction, and I guess somebody wherever he was doing it, he had a guy come out, and they have these portable hydro seeders.
Mm-hmm.
And the kid came out with that, and he thinned his mix, and he basically overseeded the whole lawn with that overseed and that hydroseeder, which was pretty sharp.
Yeah, that was good. And that's got the tackifier in it too, to help kind of stick on the ground like glue almost. So that's a good way to not get or to help kind of avoid runoff and stuff like that too.
Yeah,
I got a place near me that rents them. I almost did it, but I didn't want to mess it up. I don't know how to use it. I mean, a place like literally like a mile from me, I can rent one out. It's pretty cheap too. I mean, for what you're getting, but I mean, I don't know how to use it.
Yeah. And
spray and pray, man. Spray and pray.
That's exactly what that is.
and Olee, you got a big yard. So is there anything, that you think about doing first differently with a big yard versus us, that have, 10,000 and under, typical homeowner lawns?
As far as doing things differently?
Yeah. Like what do you think about doing first after you overseed on your big lawn?
Like once I've already core plugged and starter fert and all the good stuff's down, just like you keep it wet, I normally
do the hose to the neighbors.
Yeah, I wish. Yeah. Pray for some light rain.
Yeah.
No gully washers. Nothing like that. Like right now, a lot of people's getting prepared. Like myself, I'm trying to get some stuff prepped, and I got it looking pretty freaking good. And tomorrow, that rain's supposed to come through from the hurricane, so I quit, and I'm just going to let it do what it do. And if it washes, then go back and get back on it. But that's one thing is, I guess when you get ready to do all this stuff, is look at the weather. If it's going to be 90 degrees next week, hold off. That kind of stuff. Because I know a lot of people get excited when it cools down a little. They're ready to jump on it. And next thing you know, I mean, it can turn back in the 90s, and you don't want to waste the grass seed.
Right. Yeah. Especially if you don't have a irrigation system or something where you could keep the water to it. Those little baby grass plants they're pretty delicate.
Yep.
I know.
I wait till like end of September, beginning of like October to do mine up here in Jersey. Because like you said, we get them crazy days where, like you said, it can't hit 90 degrees, and you're like, what the hell? It's the end of summer, and we're hitting 90 degrees plus days. Yep.
Yeah. Here in mid-Missouri, I used to do mine at the end of September. So like whatever that last weekend is in September. So that way I could be mowing, right around Halloween. But I feel like, at least where I'm at here, the past couple of years, I think it's gotten colder a little earlier. So I'm going to try to do it mid-September this year, maybe push it up 2 weeks. So the weekend of the 11th and the 12th, I'm not on call, and the wife gave me the go ahead. So I should have all my dirt and all my core aerating done. Throw it down, hoping that, we'll get the water going and we don't get too many hot days. So that's definitely, you got to find that balance between, how early where it's still summertime versus how much do you want to be able to mow and see that grass really established before the cold weather comes in and it stops.
Yeah.
I was just going to say last year I did mine, and like I looked at the forecast and everything, and like 5 days later it got up in the hundreds.
Yeah. And
I didn't see that coming. But it was still okay. So, I mean, if it does happen, just keep your watering program going.
Right.
Don't
water is key.
Don't freak out or anything. It's still going to be okay. So.
Right. Yeah. And the warm, if you want to kind of look at a good silver lining kind of thing, the warm grass seed the warm soil temperatures make your grass seed germinate faster, kind of establish a little bit faster too. So, if you can keep the water to it, you can get through those hot spots. You don't want to go too early, like in the middle of summer or something, but if you can keep the water on the little baby grass, then you should be okay. Should be okay.
Yeah. So I got a question. So, and Olee kind of said something, I about jumped in, but I didn't. So starter fert, when do you guys put that down? So I've heard there's no right or wrong, but I've heard people put it down prior to seeding. I've heard people put it down like when they seed. I've heard it 3 to 5 days after you seed. What's your guys' recommendation, and what do you kind of do for your own lawns?
I do it day of.
Day of?
Yeah,
that's what I usually do. Yeah, sometimes I'll even just mix the two together in the in the hopper from overseeding.
Yeah,
just kind of coat the whole yard with it,
I don't know anything about like exact dates, but I would imagine like, you put your fertilizer down, it's going to be there for a few weeks in the soil before it eventually, gets away. And whatever the established turf won't use all of it up within a couple of weeks. That germinating grass seed will first feed off of the seed itself, but then eventually it'll start using some of that. So I bet by the time it starts to germinate and really draw nutrients from the soil, I would imagine all that stuff you put down is already dissolved and kind of established in that top layer, hopefully.
So you're saying rather than granular, you're talking about granular then.
Yeah, that's true. That's what so that's the perspective I'm coming from, is granular. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're watering a little bit, a couple times a day, every day, it's going to get its way down in there so that when the seeds are ready to start doing that. I mean, that's how I view it. You could do it a week earlier. I just feel like it's unnecessary unless you don't want to exhaust yourself from top dress in and then, spread your seed after that. If you want to do it a week ahead of time, that's probably fine too. I just figure do it all at once if you can.
Yeah. I can't remember which macro element it is, but one of it's either phosphorus or potassium. Like the actual element has to like touch the root of the plant to get absorbed. So it like moves to the soil super slowly, and it actually, like I said, has to physically, like as it moves through the soil profile, like contact the root to get taken up. So, if there's no roots down there yet, you're not going to have any uptake. So, if you're putting it down early, that I don't think you're going to like waste it, but that's something to think about too.
Yeah. I know last year I did mine, like, I think 3 or 4 days after I threw the seed down. Actually, I think I as soon as I just saw some of that rye start to pop, and then I threw it down, essentially thinking, okay, now the KBG is kind of doing its thing, and a week later it's going to kind of be in that good time zone. So I was just curious. I've heard people do it all different ways, and I don't think there's a right or wrong. There might be a best, better, but I think for people listening, if you happen to forget or you don't have any starter fert and you run out 2 days later and throw it down, I think you're still okay. So that's
I've even gone to I don't have starter fertilizer. I just use like a Milorganite. It's got a little bit of nitrogen in there just to jumpstart it, and you just kind of go with it, And up by us here in Jersey, we have that. I guess I use Ocean Grow, which is the alternative to Milorganite. It's sure. Milorganite, you're getting a 30-pound bag for what, $18, $20, so $25 sometimes. This is like $8-9 a bag, so it's 50 pounds, and it's know. So I'll just stock up at the beginning of the season. I'll buy 10 to 12 bags, and between my house, and I take care of my mom's and my in-laws. Right. So I just I have enough that I know, okay, I'm going to get through the season. If I need more, I'll run down.
Yeah, with that New Jersey sewage sludge in there, chock full of pizza and water ice and all that stuff.
So we got Menards out here, so we have their version. I think that comes from the good folks in Houston. So I don't know what they're eating down there, but I had some extra bags of that I just spread it out in the common area that I'm not really going to overseed in top dress. But I thought about putting that in my actual lawn, just to kind of have it in there now, but it's been so hot. I figured, I'm hot and sweaty. I'm going to go inside, take a shower, drink a beer, and I'm done. So I'll just fertilize when I seed this time.
Yeah. And, speaking of starter fertilizer, Scott's makes that starter fertilizer with mesotrione in it, right? So you're kind of, getting that preventative weed herbicide in the granular fertilizer. So, but what do you guys think about mesotrione or tenacity, right? A lot of people put that down when they seed. Is that something you guys do too?
Bill, what are you using?
Oh man, I'll be using Anderson's. They were generous enough to send me a bag of it. So I was going to use some of their lawn box stuff, but it's been so hot I opted not to. But I got a bag of their starter fert with the mesotrione. I bought one too because I wasn't sure if they're going to contact me in time. So now I got 2 giant ass bags of starter fert. So I'm set for a couple of seasons, I think. But I think definitely that mesotrione will help with the weed kind of base I have in this yard. I wouldn't necessarily need it at my old place, I think, because my weed coverage and my pre-emergent was pretty good, but I think it'll be beneficial this year. I can already see some wild grasses popping up after doing a light scalp last weekend. Like, shoot, I got to hit those things again. Maybe one more application or maybe the tenacity will do something about that. If I scalp it again, top dress, overseed, lay it down, maybe that'll help. I'm learning. I don't know.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't mess with the tenacity if I didn't have to, but I mean, I got some bent grass, and it's one of the few things that kind of has a target on bent grass. So, I mean, I'll probably apply it after I seed. But that's my only reason.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I was going to ask is, do you even kind of worry about weeds, coming up at the same time your grass is, since we're getting to the end of the weed growing season, at least for the annual weeds, right? Or, do you worry about it, or you just say, they'll die over the winter, and then I'll get my pre-emergent down in the spring and just get back on the herbicide program next year? Do you guys actually worry about, the weeds coming up with your grass?
I know that last year was the first time I used tenacity, or the active ingredients. What is it? How you say it?
Mesotrione.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yep.
But I sprayed it last year as I was seeding, and then I done in the back here, I left about a 20 foot by 100 without the tenacity.
Interesting.
Night and day difference in hen bit pressure after everything was seeded. I mean, I could see a straight line where I did and did not spray.
Wow.
So it actually done a great job of being a pre-emergent at seeding time. And if you're definitely going from bare ground, you want all the help you can get from weed pressure, Yeah.
I did see that the first year at my old place, when I had a lot of bare spots, I had used that Anderson with the Mesotrione, and I could see a few weeds pop up, turn white, and then but when you did that first mow, they were gone. That was pretty cool to see, but I hadn't needed it since, but I think it'll come in handy this time around. But my concern is that I don't want it popping up and leaving bare spots where I'm trying to overseed, because I would imagine most of that stuff will be gone, and then I can do my pre-emergent next spring or whatever. But if there's some of this perennial wild grass that I don't want, my fear is that would come back and cause problems next year.
And see, one thing is, whenever you're core plugging or whatever you're doing, you're always disturbing the soil. There's always weed seed and garbage in there. And as you're tearing it up and flipping it around, you're exposing it. So, that does help. The tenacity does help for us making things clean.
Yeah. So usually I just I'll spot spray with the hand can, if I see stuff. For a lot of time I'll get clover, or, if that pops up, you just kind of go out there, hit it with that. And, this way you're not killing the whole yard, blanket spraying it or whatever, and I seem to have good results with that the last 2 years doing it that way. Again, like they always say, you're never going to have a weed-free lawn. It's just a matter of how thick your lawn is that it allows the weed to grow through, and I seem to abide by that, because I've noticed that with mine. It's, especially now it's starting to come into fall, my lawn will thicken up, and it'll get to where the kids will be out there running around on it, and if they're worried about getting hurt, it's like, no, you're not going to get hurt. It's like carpet. So
right. Yeah. And it's funny, we talk about keeping the weeds out, but I'm working on my buddy's lawn in the city, and we're doing a fescue white clover mix this year. We want to do that pollinator mix that Barenbrug has. We're putting that in his lawn. He wants to do beekeeping and all that stuff next year. So I told him I'd help him out, and we're actually going to put clover into his lawn. I'm in the process of spraying it out now to try to get as much of the junk cleared out.
Jonathan Green, I think, was one of the ones that came out with a micro clover or something. You can do your whole yard with that, and it's kind of it's funny. I was talking to a guy the other day, and he says, I was cutting my grass, and he says, it's weeds, but when you cut it low, it's green. So what do I care? I start laughing, because now I'm starting to see crabgrass starting to pop up. Okay, here I got crabgrass here.
Right.
It's at that point where it's like, all right, I really don't care. Like, I'll spray it, whatever. I'm going to be getting ready to reseed anyway. So
right, and that's what my buddy's lawn is. He just moved into the house in the city, and it's clear that no one took care of the lawn before. So it's just a mix of everything, including even some wild Bermuda in there. So it's going to be a big pain in the butt to try to clear it out. I'm going over there to spray second time tomorrow. So we'll see how close we can get to getting all the crap out. But yeah,
I would imagine that. Oh, go ahead, Ron.
It was at least 3 years, right? Because I'm going to be in his house now 5, and first moving in, it's like, okay, there's a bare spot, and I go and I buy the Pennington complete, one step, throw it in there. Okay, great. It started growing, then it dies, and it's like, okay,
the patch stuff. Yeah,
go get sod. Okay, get sod. Put sod in. You water it. It dies. It's like, there's one spot in my front where I sodded, and it looks good, and then finally it was just like the third year in, I was finally fed up with it, and that's when it started reseeding and everything. And you look at the picture from like 2017 to 2019, you're like, okay, well, I did good.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy how just getting some fresh grass in, and even if you have an older house with a lawn that's mature and established, putting in those new cultivars that are bred over the last few years to have the disease resistance and all that stuff, it's amazing how much of a difference that kind of makes and gets you on that trajectory to actually having a nice lawn. So
well, it's like they say with what he's using, this Pro Vista and stuff, and it's like is it worth it, for especially me up in Jersey? I don't know, is it worth it, when you sit there, like a couple of weeks ago, what you have Tuckahoe Turf, he's talking about he's got Bermuda in New Jersey. It's like, okay, my father-in-law's in Florida, and he's, I got Bermuda, I got this, I got and
I wouldn't mess with Pro Vista when glyphosate's going to be going getting banned soon. I mean, you'll have that shit for the rest of your life.
Right.
Oh man.
But hey, I was going to mention, Alan Carter mentioned after his initial dose of starter fert, he likes to apply another dose of starter fert 4 weeks after that. So So after your initial starter fert, are you guys? What's your next step?
Yeah. I mean, I'm usually throwing some sort of once the grass germinates, especially I like to put kelp on it just to kind of help the roots get growing and help the plant go through the cell division. That's what the cytokine hormones and the kelp kind of do for the plant. So, I want those benefits, that's a really good thing to have on your germinating grass. But yeah, once you kind of get through that, 4 weeks is when I look to hit it with the next round of fertilizer. And that puts me right about the time where I'm starting my fall nitrogen blitz too. So, that's pretty good timing to start throwing down the heavy nitrogen application. I usually wait till it germinates, at least until it germinates, since
do you walk on it, or do you go around where you don't are you worried about walking on the newly germinated grass? Or
no, I don't. If it's like a bare area like that I'm patching or something like that, I'll try to avoid that. But if I'm just walking through my lawn that I overseeded, I usually don't worry about it. Yeah. But yeah, I'll get out there and spray it, and I wait till it germinates because the kelp has a better sort of absorption through the plant, through the foliar. So you got to wait for there to be foliage on
something there.
Yeah, right. So
now what about using like a hydrotain or something on I don't know. First year I used it was just this year.
Yeah.
And I seem to have good results with it, but I don't know if it's something you could do. If you're reseeding, could you hit it with hydrogen?
I thought about that.
Help,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean that was one of the studies that they have on their website, is that they did a study to see how it aids in germination, and it got better germination results using it.
Especially if you're going to core aerate or something where your seed's going to get down into the core, and you're going to hit that. And if it's in that soil, it's open while you're watering it.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting it that much more into the root zone where. Is it going to work better or what?
Right.
Maybe give it a try this year and see what happens.
Yeah. I don't think it could hurt. but yeah. So when Zach's question about fertilizer, when do you guys kind of hit your next round of fertilizer on the turf?
Normally 30 days.
I do it right away, but I go based on my soil test. I'm not putting starter fert down a second round unless I think I need some phosphorus, because starter fert's typically high in phosphorus. But I'm actually lower in phosphorus. So, but yeah, I just apply my second app probably 4 weeks after germination and apply to my soil test needs. What's up, Olee? You were kind of.
That's 30 days after germination. Hit it again.
Yeah. What are you using?
What do you typically hit it with?
Depends on what's on hand. If I had my choice, probably like Pro-Pete 1704. Give it the ammonium sulfate, get it jumping. Because the starter fert already had the phosphorus in it, to start with. So, and far as starter fertilizer, I put mine down the same day. And the way I look at it is, go ahead, put it down. That way, when the plant needs it, it's there. And also, you never know what the weather's going to do. Like, if you don't put it down and then you get a bunch of rain and you can't get back on top of it, then, you don't have it out there type thing. But I always put it down the same day. And something I do a good bit is I spray the soil hume from Simple Lawn Solutions that has the seaweed in it or whatever at seeding. That's the nice thing about the permagreen. I can be slinging the seed and spraying. And then whenever I do like the starter fert, I can be spraying tenacity or something else at that time. So, but I've seen good germination out of doing that Simple Lawn Solutions soil hume.
Yeah.
And I've even done some little tests like in containers and sprayed, one with the humic acid kelp mix and then the other just water and compare them. And it's pretty, I can see a difference in not necessarily just germination, but like more germination, more consistency.
And you're doing that day of seed or like a few days after?
I do it day of. Yeah. You probably could like Sean was saying later, but when I'm out there and the ground's dry and everything's good and I can run the permagreen, I'm putting everything down. Yeah. Because I've done that before and then we get a bunch of rain and then you can't go back out there until things dry up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Especially with the big lawn too. You gotta kind of do a lot of stuff at once. If you spread it out, you'll never get out of your lawn if you always be out there applying something every day. I know you work in your lawn every day though, but yeah, you never get out of your lawn if you keep kind of waiting for applying all the different stuff.
So Zach, are you doing a soil test like a couple weeks after seeding to check your soil then, or are you doing it one before your initial seed, then you do your starter? Like when do you soil test to get that second app to tell you what to put down or what you're needing?
First of all, don't do any soil test until about 30 or 60 days after fertilizer.
Yeah.
Your soil test will be a lie.
Just show all your fertilizer.
Right.
Just show what you put down.
I've seen some people doing that too, where like, they'll be like 3 of the macronutrients sky high. And it's like, okay, you scooped up some fert, man. Like, but I'm just basing mine off my spring soil test.
Okay. And, so it's not something new you're doing it.
I kind of know where my pH was. I had like a 6.9 pH, and so I know I didn't like lower it by like 1% this year by a couple apps of sulfur. So I kind of know where I'm at. I know where my NPK levels are at based on what I applied. So I based it off that. But so do you guys still apply phosphorus even though if you are high in phos for starter fert when you seed?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I don't know. I'm kind of torn on that because I'm pretty high in phos, and that's the thing you got to avoid, right? Is that phos lockout, right? When you get too much in your soil. So, I think I have lockout in my soil, so I got to put more down to get into the plant anyways. But yeah, that's something you got to be really, really careful about. And if, I don't know if that's one of those things where you could, how we kind of talked about before, kind of put something like a humic acid or something down to kind of, unlock something in your soil or, better you had to adjust your pH and get things kind of moving in the right direction to unlock those nutrients in your soil. But yeah, I don't know. That's something I gotta read up a little bit on. I feel like Dr. Greg Munshaw was in the chat a couple weeks ago talking about something like that. I'll have to go back and see what he said, but yeah, that's something you definitely don't want too much FOSS.
But the thing about it is, you know, the question for somebody like him to answer is, all right, so your FOSS is high, and it's high because it's locked up and it's not plant available. So if you're seeding, you need to give it some, you know, some phosphorus. So then yes, I actually had that discussion with somebody the other day, and I was told that I was wrong. But the way I look at it is, if it's not plant available, then give it some. You know?
So is it something you think where it's like, okay, you know, typically only 10% of the FOSS is available to the plant at any given time. So if you just simply load it with more FOSS, then just by default, even though it's 10%, you'll have more available. Is that kind of what you're thinking about?
Well, basically, like if it's locked up, it's in the soil.
Yeah, plant can't use it.
Test, and you're seeding, you got new roots. Well, the plant can't take it no way because it's locked up. So give it some starter fertilizer that's available at that time.
Yeah,
but not through the rest of the year, you know, because you're already high. So that's when you go into like a 1704 or something.
Yeah.
I never really thought about it that in depth before. So this year is the first year that I did a soil test. In years past, I would either just do like the Let's Go starter fert, and then I would maybe follow up with like a bag or two of Milorganite right before the season ends. And I just figured, you know, it's low and it's super organic, slow release. If it's not going to be used, it'll just be there for the next year. Now that may not be the most ideal thing to do, but that's kind of where I was last year. And the lawn was okay. I'm trying to be more conscientious of it this year. So I haven't decided what I'm going to do after the starter fert. But I guess a lot of that will maybe depend on just how the grass is doing 4 weeks out, and if I think I need to add anything more just yet, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's a topic in and of itself, right? That's when you start, you know, bombing the nitrogen on your lawn to get the new grass growing and established. You know, that, like I said, is a topic all in and of itself, really.
One thing I did was I wound up getting the one of those pH meters, so I can check. You know, periodically I'll go out and I'll check, okay, you know, with my alkaline or my acidic, you know, and I'll use the Jonathan Green Love Your Soil. So, and I've had good results with that where I've got it leveled out, and, you know, they have the purple bag, or they have the black one, or they have just the brown one, which, you know, and that helps with loosening up the soil compaction too. You know, that's a big one too. You know, you get, you know, kids playing on the lawn, and you get a lot of compaction. So you know, I had a problem when I first moved into this house where my whole backyard was it was like solid clay, like, you know, like a rock. And I'll put gypsum down, pelletized gypsum. And you find out that it takes how many years for that stuff to break down. It's like, okay, you got to put a bag down, but it takes 10 years for it to actually break down the soil. So it's like, all right, what am I doing here? You know, if it's get the aerator, you go put the aerator back, but if you don't water it to loosen it up, forget it. You're not getting the board down.
Bounces down.
Bouncing, yeah. Right. You're like, okay. Oh yeah. You go over it 500 times, and you hope that, you know, you broke it up enough.
You see it running off your sidewalk, and you're like, no.
Right.
So hey, your first mow. What's the timing on the first mow, and what type of equipment are you using? So, you know, I have a little over an acre lot, and as everybody knows, I got a 60-inch deck.
Yeah, always about size with you, Zach.
And so, you know, I bump it down a little bit, and I use my smaller deck to tackle it, and a little lightweight.
You know they make a 72, right?
A little lightweight, and I just, you know, I don't want to go too hard, too quick on it. You know what I'm saying? On that nice virgin grass.
Keep them sharp. Sharp.
I use my push mower. But, you know, like I'm curious what other people are, you know, what your guys' strategy is.
Yeah.
I mean, my stripe kit and mow tall.
Right.
That's about it.
Right. Yeah. I just, you know, kind of wait till, well, you know, I should say before I overseed, I take the grass down, so that way it has a chance to grow up a little bit before it needs cut, and hopefully that'll give the germinating grass a chance to germinate and grow a little bit too. But yeah, just, you know, once the germinating grass kind of reaches the height where it needs cut, that's where I kind of get on it and cut. Usually, what's that, like 10-ish days for fescue after it germinates. And yeah, you gotta be careful of not ripping the grass out if you're turning your mower, and all that stuff. Got to avoid the heavy equipment. Although, I got a Time Master, which is pretty heavy anyway, so that's kind of hard to avoid at that point. But especially over like bare areas, that's really delicate grass in there and rips out really easily. So you got to be careful going over that. And I think Olee, you said a sharp blade too. That's really, really important to get a good clean cut and avoid kind of ripping and tugging the grass out. You gotta be careful about that tugging action. It can get too rough sometimes.
I'll usually mulch when I'm mowing throughout the season, but after overseeding, I think in the previous times the mature grass has gotten pretty tall. So when I'm cutting, I'm taking a lot off. I don't want all that sitting up there. And I think just having the Toro recycler, I think trying to mulch all that would overwhelm my deck. My deck can't handle that much. So
sounds like
I bag it. Bill. Right. Yeah. I bag it. I don't have 60 inches like Zach, so I can't handle that much. I don't have dual blades with a Time Master, so right. I'll bag it and get it off. That way, it doesn't sit up there on top. That's the one other thing I do different.
Blade you're using too. If you're using a high lift mulch blade, that's what I use. I'll use the Oregon.
Yes,
high lift
Gator blades.
A Gator blade. I buy them from Amazon with $21. I mean, I take them off.
Same price as the regular blades.
Every 3 cuts, I take it off. I sharpen it. What does it take me? 10 minutes to put an edge on it, and that's a big help too. So even that, buy a couple extra ones and you put them on the shelf, and this way you have one sharpened ready to go. You just pop it on and you roll.
Yeah. And Drew McCleary in the chat said he has a 20-inch Greenworks reel mower that he uses just for those first few mows after overseeding. That'll get a nice clean cut, and that's not too heavy rolling over the grass too. And that's something too with those the battery powered mowers too, like the Toro 60 volt recycler. That's a lot lighter than a normal gas engine mower. So that's another kind of advantage to those battery mowers too. So that's if you want to go that far, you could maybe borrow Drew's reel mower and
I like that
have
idea.
A light mower.
That would be
so
I'm
guilty of this last year, but I've heard that you're not supposed to bag when you first do your first mow because the extra suction. This is one time where you don't want some extra suction, but you get extra suction and it can kind of pull out them new blades.
It sucks a little too hard.
It can pull them right out. And I'm guilty of it last year. Like I let mine go and it just exploded. I let mine go 2 weeks. I'm like, I'm going to wait. And then it was like, oh shit, this thing exploded. So then I had to bag it and
bag it full. You know what to do with it. Tie a knot in it.
It just explodes after waiting too long.
So I mean, does anybody have a strategy on if they bag or if they're not when seeding?
If I don't trust the lawn, I'm definitely going to bag it.
Yeah, definitely. No, I usually in the beginning of the season, I'll usually bag the first couple cuts just for that. In case there is weed seed or there's some kind of weed at the top that you're not mulching it back in.
After you get to know it for a little bit, then you just go bag.
Yeah, you got it right.
Yeah.
They put a ring on it,
I can't remember if I bagged it up last year when I overseed my first mow after overseeding.
Yeah, double bag.
Get that POA everywhere.
Yeah, right. Gotta be careful.
So you're dropping your seed.
Well, on that note, I think we could kind of pause the discussion a little bit too, because we got a couple more business items to take care of. And Zach, this one's back to you. Last week you asked me, where I'll be in mid-October, right? And where are we gonna be for like the 20th through the 22nd of October?
We're gonna be at the GIE.
Hey,
about I don't know. I'm not even actually sure how many people are going, but I would say 70% of the crew is going to GIE. Yeah. We got something special planned during the event. We will be releasing details soon. And but we're going to be there hanging out. That's the bottom line. We're going to be chilling, checking out the new equipment. seeing what's going on. So that's where I'm going to be, Sean.
Yeah. Well,
that'd be awesome.
I think we could talk about what we're going to be doing, right? We've been teasing our viewers long enough.
That's true.
We can't be teasing them.
I'll give you the honors.
Well, we were fortunate enough to partner with Baron Brug for a live episode we're going to do down at the Baron Brug booth on Friday, October 22nd. It's the last day of the show. We'll be in their booth and we'll be recording an episode there. So if you're going to be down at GIE or you'll see all the updates from everybody. Look for the Keep Off the Grass livecast crew, or at least most of the crew, to do a live episode at the Baron Brug booth on Friday morning. So a nice big
awesome.
A nice big opportunity from Baron Brug to work with us on that. Super thankful and appreciate the opportunity. They actually reached out to us to ask us to do that, and we were floored to even have the chance to do something like that. So, we've been working through the technical aspects of what that means, and we're hoping to do it live, but we don't know if the Wi-Fi will be crappy. Down at your first apartment, crappy Wi-Fi down at the convention center. So we might not be able to stream it live, but at a very minimum, we're gonna record the podcast and record the episode, record all the audio and the video, and then we'll post it up as soon as we can after we're able to do the episode. But if you're there, you definitely have the opportunity to see live in person, even if it's not live over the stream. To join us at the Baron Brug booth and see us do an episode of the Keep Off the Grass livecast.
I'd say for sure we'll record it, and then I'm hoping there's some viewers there, or some people who want to hang out. We can do a live episode later in the night somewhere. So we'll definitely we'll figure that piece out. But yeah, it's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, and speaking of opportunities, we had the great opportunity to partner with ProPete for Keep Off the Grass Lawn of the Week, and last week's winner we had Alex Mitchell. He had that big reel mowed lawn, right? The real tight stripes on that reel mow. I think it was Bermuda grass. And this week we had some pretty good entries. And who wants to announce it? Nate, you want to announce it?
Oh, I thought Zach was.
Zach?
Zach, you doing it?
So this week's winner is
Nature Boy.
What was that, Olee?
I said all the way from the Nature Boy. Woo!
Mr. Middleman himself. Midwesting.
Midwesting official. The official lawn of the Midwest.
Those are some straight stripes.
Yeah.
That looks good.
Those are solid.
Right corner. Mm-hmm.
I see it. What is that, like a little American flag?
He's close to my location. He's about maybe 2 hours away. And so he's kind of had this similar climate as me. So, I mean, I don't know if he's watering, but I mean, that's impressive. So,
yeah. Yeah. Even with the shade under those trees and stuff too. That's really nice. Yeah.
Oh, the top picture there's a garden hose that looks like laying out. So I would assume there's some water going on.
Yeah. Yeah. I like the stripes are kind of horizontal, makes it look a little bit bigger, get those, get the
dramatic.
Right. If you manicure it in just the right way, it always looks a little bit bigger. Right?
Yeah. You got to shave in the right direction.
Congrats to Midwesting official. He'll join the Keep Off the Grass Lawn of the Week club, another recipient of the championship belt for the week. I'm sure the president of the club, Mr. Drunk Lawn Guy, is hopefully already reaching out to him. Saw him in the chat earlier. So if Midwesting's in there too, he can provide a little bit of additional info about his lawn, what the grass type is. Obviously cool season grass, but is it fescue or bluegrass? What are you doing to mow it? Those details are always kind of fun to see. But you could reach out to the Keep Off the Grass Instagram, send us a DM because you are the proud owner of a Pro Pete, a bag of Pro Pete fertilizer or some Pro Pete merch. So thanks to Pro Pete for sponsoring this and helping us help you with their product. So thank you to everyone that submits. Again, we talked about it a little bit earlier, but just hashtag KOTG Lawn of the Week in a post on Instagram. Not a story, because those disappear and we're not fast enough sometimes to see them. And that way we can go back and take a look at everybody. And again, there's some great entries this week. So thanks to everybody that continues to enter, everybody that has entered, all the other winners. A really cool thing that's kind of building around this Lawn of the Week.
This is a tough time of year for a cool season, and we've gotten some really, really good looking lawns. I'm like, man, some of these guys they know what they're doing. It's hard. It's tough every week, man.
Yeah.
The yards look good. I don't know. Everybody's from different parts of the country, even different countries, it's cool to see what folks are doing to their yards and how they're keeping it through summer. It's been awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. We've had some warm season, some cool season, some real mode, some rotary mode, some big lawns, some small lawns. So,
crisp edges.
Yeah, right. Even a couple wavy stripes, despite Nate's protest votes. So
they try.
What'd you say? Drunk lawn guys in here, or is he in a shower eating ice cream cones? I don't know.
I don't know. He might be stealing my blowjob phrase. I don't know.
No.
I was giving him crap. He stole my phrase, man. He made it real. It's all right though. He ended up giving me props.
Well,
that's awesome.
There you go. Midwesting. I didn't see if he posted anything, buddy. But congrats. Very well deserved. Great entry, and everybody else keep entering. Keep tagging your lawns, and we'll see who wins next week.
Hey, I want to help some people get Pro Pete. There's a website that's called Winfield United Pro. And I've been talking with them, and they used to have a deal where you had to buy 6 50-pound bags or more to get free shipping. They've actually changed that now to where if you buy 4 50-pound bags, you get free shipping. And you can mix match your NPKs. So if you want to have some 7-4-14 for winter stress or summer stress, and you want some 1704, the only thing you have to do is all 4 bags have to be the same prill size. So you can either do all greens grade or all fairway grade, but that's a killer deal. I think it works out to like $40 or $45 a bag for 50-pound bags delivered to your door.
Yeah, that's about the same price that Home Depot sells them for the shipping. Yeah,
but but Home Depot don't have 50-pounders.
Right, they're 25ers, I think.
Yeah, 25 is what I got. Yeah,
yeah, and that Pro Pete 1111 would be a nice starter for it too.
I've used that for a starter, but like I say, you could buy you some 1111, get you some 7-4-14 for some stress, 1704. You can mix it up, have your whole program for a whole year.
That's a pretty good deal. Yeah,
I think it's like $160 some odd for 4 bags delivered.
What is it? Winfield United, you said?
Winfield United Professional.
I'm gonna check it out.
Nice.
Yep. But it's just a good contact to find Pro Pete.
Yeah. Nice.
Good.
So talked fertilizer, right? After putting your grass seed down, right? Starter fertilizer and, follow up for fert applications. Talked a little bit of biostims. Talked some herbicides, talked watering, most importantly too, at the very beginning. That was a good little discussion. What else did we miss?
Sharp blades, we hit that.
Yeah. First mow.
It's very
first
important
mow job out of the,
go out and give your blades a good sharpen before you're going to hit that first mow. So it's very important.
I tend to read it a story at night before bed after a week of overseeding, just to kind of let them know I love it, and I wanted to get big and strong.
Yeah.
So don't forget that.
I know a big important one, a very, very important step after overseeding. Keep off the grass.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's true.
That's very, very important though. You don't want traffic on there, so just keep that in mind. I know a lot of people will get out like a stake and some ribbon or whatever it is and rope off the area. But generally speaking, if you overseed, it's not as dramatic looking. So, neighbor kids or mailman or whatever, FedEx, UPS, they're notorious for just walking through your lawn. So that's something, maybe if you got a sign or something like that, you throw it out there. But that's important, less traffic as you can possibly do for that first, I'd say a couple weeks at least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
yeah. Good tip. Turn your lawn into a crime scene. Make your neighbors want to stay off it. Put the police tape up and the caution tape, all that stuff, right?
Yeah, that'll just make them more nosy.
Right.
If your neighbors don't already know what you're doing and what kind of guy you are, I think it's pretty obvious,
right?
I love that first mow 4 weeks later when you got your edges are all overgrown and they're hanging over, and you come by with the trimmer or the edger and you just it just looks so good. It stands straight up and down. Yeah. That's like one of the best mows I think of the year is you just level off that real tall grass. And I don't know.
Well, nice. that new grass is always so green. It's just it's just like pure as shit. I mean, it looks so good,
Yeah.
Oh man, it's thin, stands straight up, looks
like it's like a young buck just ready to go.
Ready to explode everywhere.
Got that domination line.
Cut me, daddy.
Oh, we need
over.
Where's Cody?
We need Cody.
He's better at it.
Yeah. I mean, in fall, fall's already a good time of the season or good time of the year for the cool season grasses. So even better with the overseeded fresh grass in there. So
yeah,
nice.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, I think it's about that time, right? We had some pretty good. Just the tips. That I think we gave everybody enough of our tips tonight. So. Make sure you're following Keep Off the Grass Livecast on Instagram at Keep Off the Grass Livecast. Enter the KOTG Lawn of the Week. Check out the website. Thanks to Zach again for showing off the hard work that we've been putting into the website. Make sure you like and subscribe and all that good stuff to help us out and make sure you're staying up to date with the content. Including our soon-to-be live episode from down at GIE at the Barenbrug booth. So some cool things coming. Appreciate everybody's support. Appreciate everybody hanging out tonight.
What's next week?
Next week, we will be talking liquid versus granular fertilizers. So a nice little continuation of the discussion we started tonight with fertilizers. And then all leads up to a few episodes from now. We have a really, really special guest joining us. So lots of cool things in store. So next week, liquid versus granular fertilizers. So make sure you're subscribing and hit the bell so you're getting the alert when we go live for that episode.
Probably see a YouTube video between now and then from someone. So we'll see.
Interesting.
No, I'm saying someone will probably go out and make a video real quick on it.
Oh, God.
So
yeah.
We'll
Five reasons why you should reasons why you should use this fertilizer.
The 5 differences between liquid and granular.
Right. yeah. Anyway.
Nice.
Okay. I love you guys.
All right, boys. Well, good episode. Thanks to everybody in the chat for hanging out. See y'all next week.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Go Hawks.